Hello there, I'm Nicole, and today I'd like to talk to you about one classic element of story writing. So, if you like to read, or write, or watch movies, you've probably heard of the hero's journey before. The hero's journey, also referred to as the monomyth, is a storytelling technique used in many successful stories from mythology to modern literature. It's a pattern that writers use as a sort of guideline to take their main characters through an enjoyable, engaging, and transformative adventure in which they will encounter challenges that will lead to their growth and self-discovery. Now, think of the hero's journey as a cycle with a series of main steps. The number of steps can change depending on the story, so some people will say there's 12 steps, while others will say there's 15 or 5 or 17. But what they all have in common is 3 main stages: departure, initiation, and return. And these 3 encompass all of the main elements. Today, we're going to focus on these through 12 steps and apply them to a very famous movie franchise. Let us begin at 0, our starting point. Here, nothing is happening. The hero is in their ordinary world. Step number 1 would be the call to adventure. And this is the moment when the hero is faced with a dream, a supernatural encounter, or any other sort of message that triggers their adventure. Step number 2 is the refusal of the call, in which, as the name implies, the hero refuses to accept and follow their calling, either because of fear or self-doubt. Step 3 is meeting the mentor. The hero will encounter someone who is going to provide support and guide them throughout their adventure. Number 4, crossing the threshold. This is the part where the hero physically leaves behind what they know, that original world and the status that they started with, and moves on the map towards a new destination, where their adventure will start. Number 5, we have the action, the trials. Here, the hero will encounter challenges, allies, and enemies, and he will have to navigate all of these with their own resources and strengths. Step number 6 is the approach. In this step, the hero will get closer to the deepest and darkest challenge, and this will determine the future of the story. Number 7, the ordeal or the crisis. This is the moment of truth. The hero is now in complete darkness, fully submerged in their biggest challenge, facing the thing they fear the most, facing death, or maybe even dying and being born once again. Step 8, the treasure or reward. The hero is successful and gains a reward that will help them continue their journey. This reward can be a treasure, some sort of power, or some essential knowledge. Step 9, the road back, in which the hero will encounter some new challenges, now backed with the power of their newly gained reward. Step number 10, the resurrection. In this step, the hero will get to truly experience their transformation, either facing a moment of literal death and rebirth, or a metaphorical growth. Step 11, the return. The hero is back home a new person with a new life, changed by the quest and all the challenges they had to face. And finally, number 12, our final step, the resolution. The hero finally achieves the highest point of change and freedom, and here is when you usually have the happily ever after. Unless you have to start it all again with a whole new adventure. Now, let's see the hero's journey put into practice in a popular story, The Boy Who Lived. Harry Potter starts with our hero, Harry, in his normal and not so happy ordinary life. The call to adventure starts slowly, with all of the magical things that start happening, from the load of letters floating through his chimney to the glass disappearing in the zoo. But most of all, the call to adventure is most clear when Hagrid approaches Harry and invites him to Hogwarts. Harry's refusal of the call is quite short, you could say, as he says that he can't be a wizard because he's just a normal kid. He's just Harry, before he finally accepts and follows Hagrid, who, in this first part of the series, happens to be his mentor, as he guides our hero through the wonders and mysteries of this new world. Next step, crossing the threshold. Harry has left his home behind and is fully invested in this wizarding world, starting from that first step into Diagon Alley. Next, we have the tests, allies, and enemies, which, if you're familiar with the series, you'll know he has many of these throughout the duration of all the movies. From this point on, we can see some variations in the following steps, with some of them changing order or even disappearing if we look at each individual movie in the franchise, and this is completely normal. We see Harry fighting internal conflicts with self-doubt, legendary battles, him gaining possession over some extremely powerful items in the wizarding world, his death, and even his rebirth, before our hero successfully defeats his enemies and finally returns home a free and changed man, completely transformed by his ordeals. So as you can see, the hero's journey is a well-structured formula, but it's pretty flexible when it comes to the individual steps and their order. This said, I encourage you to find other works that use this writing technique and to find what variations they include. And if you like creating stories yourself, feel free to use the hero's journey to your advantage as you take your characters into a wonderful adventure. Thank you for listening. Bye-bye!